The chlorine-scented air hit me like a slap as I stumbled out the back door, my heart pounding from the nightmare that had jolted me awake. Flames licking at the edges of our old family photos, swallowing everything I'd built. But it wasn't fire I found under the moonlit glow of the pool lights. It was Leo, my stepson, crouched by the filter pump, his bare shoulders glistening with sweat, scrubbing the gear like it held the secrets to his unraveling life. "Dad?" he whispered, his voice cracking like thunder in the still night, eyes wide with a fear that mirrored my own buried regrets. I froze, the beer bottle I'd grabbed for a midnight chug, slipping from my fingers to shatter on the patio stones, shards scattering like the fragments of the life we'd both been pretending to live. In that split second, as his gaze locked onto mine, raw, unguarded, pleading, I knew this wasn't just about a late-night chore. It was the unraveling of us, the forbidden thread that had been pulling tighter since the day his mother left us both adrift in this sprawling California suburb. That night in July, the Santa Ana winds were whispering through the jacaranda trees, carrying the faint hum of freeway traffic from the valley below. Our house in Pasadena, modest by LA standards, with its stucco walls and terracotta roof, had always felt like a sanctuary, a place where I'd pieced together a family after my own had shattered. I'd married Elena 12 years ago, a whirlwind romance born from grief. She'd lost her first husband to a hiking accident in the Sierras, and I'd buried my high school sweetheart in the AIDS crisis of the 90s, back when love like ours was whispered about in shadows, not shouted from rooftops. Leo was 7 then, all gangly limbs and suspicious glares, convinced I was the intruder stealing his mom's smile. But time, that relentless sculptor, had softened the edges. Or so I'd thought. Now, at 22, Leo was a man forged in the fires of unspoken longings. Fresh out of UCLA with a film degree he wasn't sure how to wield, he was crashing in the guest room, our guest room, while job hunting in a city that chewed up dreamers like stale popcorn. I'd catch him sometimes, editing clips on his laptop late into the night, his face illuminated by the glow of stories he couldn't yet tell. Stories about boys, maybe. Whispers I'd overheard at his college graduation party, from friends with rainbow pins on their backpacks. But Leo, my Leo, with his easy grin and that faded Dodgers cap he wore backward? Nah, couldn't be. Or at least, that's what I told myself, because admitting otherwise meant confronting the echo in my own chest. The part of me that had loved fiercely once and lost everything. The pool was his domain, always had been. Elena had insisted on it when we bought the place. A nod to Leo's childhood obsession with synchronized swimming videos he'd binge on YouTube, after she bailed 2 years back, chasing some yoga guru to Sedona, leaving a note about finding her truth. The pool became his therapy. He'd skim leaves at dawn, vacuum the tiles until they gleamed, as if clarity in the water could wash away the chaos she'd left behind. I'd watch from the kitchen window, coffee in hand, marveling at how the blue light danced across his skin, turning him into something mythical, untouchable. But that night, as I padded out in my boxers and a threadbare Giant's tee, drawn by the nightmare's residue, I wasn't marveling. I was unraveling. "Dad." "Shit. Sorry?" Leo stammered, dropping the scrub brush into the pump basket with a clatter that echoed off the fence. He stood too quickly, water dripping from his swim trunks, pooling at his feet like tears he wouldn't shed. His chest rose and fell in sharp bursts, the faint outline of a tattoo I'd never noticed peeking from under his collar. A compass rose, inked in black, pointing nowhere and everywhere. I stepped over the glass shards, ignoring the sting in my soul, because pain was an old friend. "Leo? It's 2 a.m, kid. What's going on? You okay?" My voice came out rougher than intended, laced with the gravel of too many unsaid apologies. From the years I'd buried my own queerness under layers of straight dad performance, from the way I'd let Elena's exit carve canyons between us. He rubbed the back of his neck, that telltale flush creeping up from his collarbone, the one that always betrayed him in high school poker games. Couldn't sleep. Pool was filthy from the wind. Figured, why not? His eyes darted to the house, then back to me, lingering a beat too long on my face, my arms, the way the moonlight carved shadows across my chest. I felt exposed not just from the lack of shirt, but from the weight of his gaze, like he was seeing through the facade for the first time. We stood there, the pump humming its monotonous dirge, the air thick with unspeakables. I wanted to ask about the nightmare I'd woken from. Flames devouring photos of Mark, my first love, the one whose laugh still haunted my quiet moments. But instead, I knelt to help, my hands brushing his as I fished the brush from the water. Electricity, subtle as a summer storm's first rumble. "Hand me the skimmer," I muttered, breaking the spell. But as we worked side by side, shoulders nearly touching, the silence stretched into something intimate, charged. He told me about a script he'd been writing. A road trip flick about two guys chasing ghosts across Route 66. And for the first time, I heard the undercurrent, the longing woven into his words like hidden code. By the time the pool gleamed again, dawn was bruising the sky purple. We collapsed onto the lounge chairs, beers in hand. Mine from the shattered bottle's replacement, his a sly grab from the outdoor fridge. "You ever think about what it'd be like," he said suddenly, staring at the ripples, "to just drive? No map, no plan. Just you and someone who gets it." His voice was soft, vulnerable, the kind that invited confessions. I took a swig, the bitterness grounding me. "All the time, Leo. Back when I was your age, I had a guy, Mark. We talked about hitting the Pacific Coast Highway in a beat-up Mustang, windows down, wind in our hair. Never happened." The words slipped out, unbidden, the dam cracking after decades. Mark's face flashed. Hazel eyes, that crooked smile, the way he'd hum Springsteen off-key to make me laugh. Gone too soon, leaving me a husk who married safe, loved from afar. Leo's head snapped toward me, his expression a storm of surprise and something deeper, like recognition. "You had a guy." No judgment, just wonder. And in that wonder a bridge formed, fragile but real. We talked until the sun crested the hills, trading stories like contraband. His fumbling first kiss behind the bleachers at prom, with a boy named Alex, who ghosted him after. My stolen weekends in San Francisco's Castro, dancing under disco lights before the world turned cruel. By breakfast, as I flipped pancakes in the kitchen, grease popping like fireworks, I felt lighter, seen. But as he scrolled his phone at the island, a text pinged. "Hey, party at mine tonight?" Bring that smile, from some profile pic that screamed confidence, and a shadow crossed his face. That afternoon, while he napped off the all-nighter, I wandered the garage, unearthing boxes from my pre-Elena life. Photos yellowed at the edges. Mark and me at Big Sur, arms slung casual, eyes screaming everything. A letter, creased from rereads. "You're my North, Jake. Don't forget." I tucked it away, heart aching. But when Leo emerged, rumpled and radiant, asking if I'd critique his script, I said yes without hesitation. We spent the evening on the couch, his laptop balanced on our knees, my arm draped over the backrest. Innocent, but not. His laughter filled the room as I butchered a line reading, and when our eyes met, held, the air hummed with possibility. But possibility has teeth. That night, as he headed out to the party, clapping my shoulder with a grin, "Thanks, Dad, for everything." I caught a whiff of his cologne, citrus and spice, and my stomach twisted. "Stepson." The word clanged like a warning bell. Yet as his taillights faded down the driveway, I poured a whiskey and wondered, what if the nightmare wasn't fire, but flood? What if loving him meant drowning us both? The days blurred into a tentative rhythm. Mornings at the pool, where he'd teach me lazy laps, our strokes syncing like a duet. Afternoons hashing scripts, his ideas blooming wild under my gruff nudges. Stories of outcasts finding home in each other's scars. Evenings on the deck, grilling burgers while he blasted indie playlists. His voice weaving harmonies I hadn't heard since Mark. It was easy, intoxicating, the kind of ease that sneaks up on you like fog off the Pacific. One sticky Thursday, after a script breakthrough, he'd nailed a confession scene that left me misty-eyed. We celebrated with takeout from that hole-in-the-wall Thai place on Colorado Boulevard. Rain had rolled in unexpectedly, a rare SoCal downpour drumming the roof like applause. We ate cross-legged on the living room rug, fortune cookies cracked open like promises. Mine read, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The heart knows what the mind fears." He laughed, but his eyes were serious, searching mine over the rim of his Singa. "You think that's bullshit, or?" I set my beer down, the room shrinking to just us, the patter of rain a veil against the world. "I think it's true. Scary as hell, but true." My hand moved of its own accord, brushing a crumb from his knee. He didn't pull away. Instead, his fingers covered mine, warm, tentative. Time suspended, the thunder outside mirroring the one in my chest. "Leo," I breathed, the name a prayer and a plea. "Dad, Jake," he corrected, voice husky. "I've been wanting to," but the doorbell shattered it. A courier with Elena's forwarding address scrawled on a manila envelope. "Divorce papers, finalized." She was gone for good. He snatched his hand back, the moment fracturing. We signed in silence, the pen scratching like accusations. Later, as he retreated to his room, I heard the shower run too long, the water a barrier against what we'd almost bridged. That night, sleep evaded me, the envelope mocking from the counter. Betrayal's first whisper. Not from her, but from the life we'd built on half-truths. The rain lingered into Friday, turning the backyard into a watercolor blur, the pool a mirror for moods we couldn't name. I threw myself into work. Freelance carpentry gigs, sanding cabinets for a flip in Eagle Rock, the rhythmic rasp of sandpaper a mantra against the chaos in my head. Sawdust clung to my skin like regret, but it couldn't erase the feel of Leo's hand on mine, the way his touch had ignited something dormant, forbidden. Stepson. The label chafed, a collar I'd forged myself in the name of normalcy. But normalcy was a lie, one that had cost me Mark, cost Elena her spark, and now threatened to cost me Leo. Not as a son, but as the man who saw me whole. By evening, the storm had cleared, leaving the air scrubbed clean, jasmine blooming defiant along the fence. Leo was in the kitchen when I got home, sleeves rolled up, chopping cilantro for tacos with a focus that bordered on fury. "Hey," he said without looking up, knife flashing. "Heard from Mom." I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed to anchor myself. "Yeah, it's done. She's happy, I guess." The words tasted like ash. "Happy in Sedona while we picked up the shards." He paused, blade hovering. "And you?" His eyes met mine, sharp as the serrated edge, probing, protective. In that gaze, I saw the boy who'd once punched a bully for mocking my gay uncle jokes at Thanksgiving. The teen who'd hugged me tighter after Elena's announcement, whispering, "We're still us." I shrugged, forcing a grin. Survivor's guilt, maybe. But hey, more tacos for us. We cooked in tandem, a dance we'd perfected over years. Him on veggies, me on the grill pan, banter flowing easy, laced with the unspoken. As we ate on the patio, fairy lights twinkling like hesitant stars, he cracked open. "That script scene? It was about this." He gestured vaguely between us. Then the pool. Catching someone in the act. Not cleaning gear, but hiding from themselves. My fork stilled. Hiding what, Leo? He pushed his plate away, elbows on the table, vulnerability etching lines around his mouth. "Me. Who I am. I've known since high school, Dad. The crushes on guys in bio class, the way I'd linger in the locker room showers, heart hammering. But Mom, she had this vision. Straight-A son, future director with a nice girl on his arm. And you were the rock, the straight dad hero. How do I blow that up?" The confession landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading. I reached across, covering his hand, deliberate this time. "You don't blow it up. You build on it. I should have told you sooner. About Mark. About how I folded myself into this box after he died. Married your mom because she was safe, kind. But it wasn't fair to any of us." My thumb traced his knuckles, a map of shared scars. "You're not blowing anything. You're freeing it." His breath hitched, eyes shimmering under the lights. For a heartbeat, we were suspended. Two men on the edge of a cliff, wind tugging at our resolve. Then he leaned in, forehead to mine, the contact electric, innocent in its ache. "I don't want to lose you," he murmured, voice breaking. "Not like she did." "You won't," I promised, even as doubt gnawed. We pulled apart slowly, the night air cooling the flush on our cheeks, and talked until the crickets overtook the conversation. About his fears of coming out in Hollywood's Shark Tank, my regrets over silence protests in the 80s, when ACT UP marches were met with billy clubs and indifference. By midnight, as we cleared plates, he hugged me at the sink, fierce, lingering, and whispered, "Thanks for catching me that night." I held on, breathing him in. "Always will." Saturday dawned brutal, heat wave rolling in like an uninvited guest. Leo had a callback audition in Silver Lake, a short film about queer road warriors, and I drove him windows down, his playlist blasting Hosier tracks that twisted my gut with their raw yearning. We parked curbside amid hipster coffee shops and muraled walls, the city pulsing with possibility. "Break a leg," I said, clapping his shoulder. He grinned, that boyish flash that undid me, and leaned over the console. Cheek to cheek, a brush of lips that could be accident or intent. "See you at 3, he said, vanishing into the casting office. I killed time wandering, gravitating to a used bookstore on Sunset, shelves groaning with dog-eared paperbacks. A volume on queer cinema caught my eye, Brokeback Mountain annotations, essays on hidden loves in plain sight. I bought it, thumbing pages in a corner cafe, the words blurring with memories of Mark and me camping in the Angeles National Forest, stars wheeling overhead as we traced constellations with fingertips. By pickup, Leo emerged buoyant, script in hand. He'd nailed it, director's assistant buzzing about callbacks. We celebrated with Pho in Little Saigon, slurping noodles amid the chatter of Vietnamese families, his foot nudging mine under the table in silent Morse code. That euphoria carried us home, windows fogged from laughter and AC blasts. But as we pulled into the driveway, my phone lit up. "Elena, need to talk. About Leo. Coming by tomorrow." My stomach plummeted. What did she know? The tacos from last night soured in my memory. Had she sensed the shift in his voice during our weekly call? Leo caught my expression, playfulness fading. "Mom." "Yeah, wants to visit." I pocketed the phone, forcing nonchalance. "Probably just checking in." He nodded, but doubt shadowed his eyes. We grilled steaks that night, the sizzle masking tension, and when he retreated early, claiming script revisions, I found the pool light on at 1 a.m. again. This time, no scrubbing. He was floating on his back, arms outstretched like surrender, the water cradling him in blue oblivion. I stripped to shorts, slipped in beside him, our strokes paralleling in the deep end. "Can't sleep?" I asked, treading water. "Scared?" he admitted, flipping to face me, droplets beating his lashes. Of her seeing me, really seeing. I swam closer, the current pulling us into intimacy. "Then let me help. We'll face it together." My hand found his underwater, fingers lacing, a lifeline. He surged forward then, colliding in a hug that was all salt and need. His head on my shoulder, sobs muffled against my neck. I held him as the world narrowed to heartbeat and breath, the line between fatherly comfort and something more blurring into irrelevance. Sunday arrived with Elena's rental Prius purring up the drive at noon, her aura all sage bundles and flowing linens, the scent of patchouli clashing with our chlorine world. She hugged Leo fiercely, then me, stiff, appraising. Over iced tea on the patio, she dove in. "Leo's been distant on calls. Is everything okay?" Her eyes flicked between us, probing. Leo's grip tightened on his glass. "Mom, work's tough." I cut in smoothly. "But we're good. Thick as thieves." The lie sat heavy, but it bought time. She stayed for lunch. Avocado toast she'd insisted on prepping, lecturing about chakras and releasing old patterns. As she prattled, I caught Leo's foot hooking mine under the table, a defiant anchor. But when she pulled him aside for a private chat by the pool, their heads bent close, I paced the kitchen, eavesdropping on fragments. "Proud no matter what. Love you as you are." She left with air kisses and promises of crystals in the mail, but her parting glance at me lingered. Knowing? Suspicious? That night, Leo cornered me in the hallway, eyes fierce. She asked if you're happy. Said she sees the way I look at you. His cheeks flamed. I told her it's family. But Jake, it's more. The air crackled. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing jawline. I know, and it's terrifying. Our foreheads touched again, breaths mingling, the precipice yawning. Then, a knock, his phone insistent. Miss you. Come over? From Alex? The prom ghost. Now a producer's assistant with a smile that promised escape. Leo hesitated, then pulled away. I should go. Clear my head. He dressed quick. Jeans that hugged too well, cologne sharp, and was gone before I could protest. I spent the night nursing a scotch, the pool's glow mocking my solitude. Elena's words echoing, releasing old patterns. But what if this was the new one? What if it broke us? Monday brought a heat advisory, the kind that turns tempers molten. Leo stumbled in at dawn, disheveled, reeking of bar smoke and regret. Alex is intense, he muttered over coffee, avoiding my eyes. Pushes for labels I don't have yet. Intense. The word clawed at me. Jealousy, unbidden, hot as the sun baking the deck. I nodded, swallowing bile. You deserve someone who fits, Leo, not a square peg. We didn't touch that day. The space between us widened, a chasm filled with what-ifs. He holed up editing. I hammered nails at a job site in Alhambra, each swing a vent for the storm brewing. By evening, he emerged with takeout. In and out, animal style and a tentative smile. Truce? Movie night. We cued moonlight, the screen bathing us in blue hues that mirrored the pool's call. As Chiron navigated his hidden self, Leo's hand found mine on the couch. Deliberate, trembling. No words, just the press of palm to palm, the film a proxy for our confessions. When credits rolled, he turned, eyes liquid. That's us, isn't it? Hiding in the light. I pulled him close, arms wrapping safe. Not anymore. The hug deepened, bodies aligning in wordless poetry. But we held the line, lips brushing temples, not mouths. Restraint, laced with fire. Then betrayal's shadow fell. My phone buzzed mid-embrace. A text from Elena. Talk to Alex's mom. Leo's seeing him? Be careful, Jake. I see it now, the way you look at him. Don't ruin him like you ruined us. Ruin. The word detonated, shards embedding deep. She knew, and worse, she judged. I shoved the phone away, but Leo caught the flash. What? Nothing? I lied, heart fracturing. But lies have half-lives, and this one was already decaying. Tuesday scorched the earth, the thermometer spiking to 105 as if the devil himself had turned up the dial on our unraveling. I called in sick to the job site, something about heat stroke, but really, it was the Elena text looping in my skull like a bad reel. Don't ruin him. Ruin. As if love was a wrecking ball, not a builder. I paced the empty house, Leo off at another audition, the pool a taunting sapphire void. By noon, I'd cracked open the bourbon, neat, the burn a poor substitute for truth. How had she seen it? Those sidelong glances at family dinners, the way I'd linger in doorways watching him laugh? Or was it projection? Her guilt for leaving, twisted into accusation? When Leo burst through the door at 2, script clutched triumphant. Landed the short, shooting next week. His joy hit me like sunlight through blinds, piercing but blinding. I mustered a hug, clapping his back too hard, the bourbon on my breath a giveaway. He pulled back, nose wrinkling. Whoa, Dad. Rough morning. I deflected with a grin, steering us to the kitchen for celebratory sodas, root beer floats, his childhood vice. But as bubbles fizzed, Elena's poison seeped. Hey, your mom called earlier. Just checking in. Lie 1 piling on lie 2. His spoon paused midair. What did she say? Nothing big. Proud of you. The omission tasted foul, but confession felt like detonation. We toasted anyway, clinking glasses, his eyes sparkling with futures I feared I'd taint. That afternoon, he dragged me to the pool for victory laps. Our bodies slicing water in tandem, the cool embrace a brief absolution. Underwater, hands brushed thighs. Accidental? Intentional? Sending jolts that lingered like aftershocks. We surfaced laughing, but the undercurrent pulled stronger, treacherous. Evening brought Alex. Leo's phone had been pinging nonstop, and when he announced, he's swinging by. Cool? My jaw clenched. Cool, right? Alex arrived at dusk in a Tesla that screamed trust fund polish, blonde hair artfully tousled, handshake firm but eyes appraising. Like I was the help, not the heart of this home. They vanished to the guest room for script talk, door ajar just enough for murmurs and laughter to filter out. Each peel a knife twist. I retreated to the garage, tools clanging as I refinished a credenza, shavings curling like question marks at my feet. Hours later, as Alex's car purred away, Leo found me amid the dust, sleeves rolled, forearms veined from strain. Hey, you okay? Seemed tense. I wiped sweat, avoiding his gaze. Just work stuff. How was the brainstorm? His smile faltered, perceptive as ever. Good, but Alex pushes. Wants to go public, labels and all. Instagram official. He leaned against the workbench, close enough for his warmth to bridge the gap. Feels fast. Trust your gut, I said, voice steady by will alone. But inside, a gale raged. Jealousy, yes, but laced with terror. What if Alex was safe, out and proud, the kind of partner who wouldn't carry the weight of taboo? What if I was the ruin Elena warned of? He stepped closer, hand on my arm, grounding, electric. You're my gut, Jake. Always have been. The nickname, soft from his lips, undid me. I turned, cupping his elbow, the air thickening to honey. Our faces inches apart, breaths sinking, the precipice calling. Then my phone trilled, Elena's ringtone, insistent as fate. I ignored it, but the second buzz broke the spell. Leo chuckled, rueful. Answer it. She's relentless. She was. Jake, we need to talk. For Leo's sake. I stepped outside, voice low. What the hell, Elena? Ruin him? You left. This is our life now. Her sigh crackled through the line, all faux compassion. I see the photos you post, pool days, movie nights. It's too close, Jake. He's vulnerable. And you're still grieving Mark. Don't drag Leo into your unfinished business. Grieving, I hissed, glancing back at the garage light spilling gold. This isn't. But what was it? Fatherly? More? The line blurred, her words a mirror to my fears. Be the dad he needs, she pleaded, then hung up, leaving echoes. I re-entered the garage to find Leo packing tools, efficient, distant. Everything good? Yeah, just family drama. Lie 3. We finished in silence, the credenza gleaming like false polish. Bed called early, but sleep mocked me. Tossing to visions of Alex's hands on him, Elena's judgment, Mark's ghost whispering choose brave. Wednesday dawned with Leo's shoot call, a crack of dawn trek to the desert for his short, mirage men, about 2 drifters finding truth in the sands. I drove, coffee thermos steaming, his excitement a bomb. At the Vasquez Rocks, those jagged formations from 100 westerns, he kissed my cheek goodbye, quicksilver, then was swept into lights and lenses. I lingered, hiking the trails alone, the sun baking confessions from stone. I love him, not as a son, as a man. The admission freed something terrifying in its clarity. Pickup was chaos. Rap party in a Lancaster dive, locals eyeing the LA types with wary amusement. Leo shone, recounting takes over wings, but Alex was there, arms slung possessive around his waist, toasting my leading man. My beer soured. I clapped backs, played the proud stepdad, but inside, fissures widened. As we piled into trucks for the ride home, me behind the wheel, Leo shotgun, Alex in back regaling with producer contacts, the tension hummed. Alex's hand on Leo's thigh, casual claim. Leo's glance my way, apologetic, conflicted. At a stoplight in Pasadena, Alex slurred, "Dude, your stepdad's a keeper, built like a tank. Ever think of acting?" Laughter, but his eyes in the rear view were sly, probing. "Jake's the real star," Leo said, hand squeezing my knee, brief, burning. The light changed, we rolled on. Home dropped Alex first. Kissy goodbye, tongue flick that twisted my gut. Alone in the driveway, Leo sagged against the seat. "He's great, but overwhelming." "You don't owe him anything," I said, killing the engine. Silence bloomed, heavy with the unsaid. Then, impulsive, I leaned over, forehead to his. "Or me." His hand rose, tracing my jaw, tender, exploratory. "I want both. All of you." Lips brushed, soft, questioning, a spark to tinder. We froze, the kiss hanging unfinished, worlds colliding. Then headlights swept, Elena's Prius, unannounced. She spilled out, face thunderous. "Get out, Leo. Now." Her voice brooked no argument. Eyes locked on our near touch. "Mom," he started, but she grabbed his arm, yanking him from the car. "Inside. We're talking. To me, you. Stay away from my son." The door slammed, leaving me in the dark, engine ticking cool. Betrayal, threefold. Hers in ambush, Alex's in oblivious claim, mine in the kiss half stolen. I drove aimlessly. Griffith Observatory, stars mocking from above. Until dawn, Elena's words a dirge. "Stay away." Thursday fractured us. Leo texted sparse. "She's staying a few days. Sorting stuff." I crashed at a buddy's in Echo Park, crashing harder on cheap beer and bad TV, avoiding the house that now felt like a cage. Work blurred, sanding, nailing, building walls literal and not. By evening, a voicemail from Leo, voice wrecked. "Jake, please come home." I told her everything. About us. The feeling. She freaked. "But I need you." Home was war zone. Elena pacing the living room, Leo on the couch, knees drawn. "You predator," she spat as I entered, grooming him under my nose. "Elena, stop." Leo stood, fierce. "It's not, he's not. I love him, as more than family. Have for months." The room spun. Love, out loud, irrevocable. She whirled on him. "Stockholm Syndrome from my leaving? Fine, but I'm taking you to therapy. Away from this mess." "No." His chin lifted, echoing my own stubborn streak. "This is my mess. My heart." She stormed out, tires screeching, but not before hissing. "You'll regret this, both of you." Door slam. Silence crashed. Leo crossed to me, tentative. "I'm sorry for not saying sooner." I pulled him in, arms iron. "Don't be." "But Elena, she'll weaponize it. Call lawyers, friends. Let her." His lips found mine then. Full, fervent, no hesitation. The kiss bloomed, sweet with relief, deep with hunger held too long. We broke gasping, foreheads pressed. We're worth the fight. But fights have casualties. Friday's mail brought the bomb. A letter from Elena's attorney, custody petition, emancipation threat revoked, emotional endangerment cited. At 22, Leo was free, but the smear, predatory stepfather, could torch reputations, jobs. He laughed it off over breakfast, but his hands shook on the cereal bowl. "Screw her. We'll lawyer up." We did, afternoons in a Glendale office, spinning truths into legalese. Nights we mended, pool floats turning intimate, hands exploring boundaries with reverence, kisses deepening but halting at dawn's mercy. Romance, tentative, bloomed. Notes in lunch bags, knock 'em dead. Director, drives to Malibu where waves crashed like applause for our whispers. Yet betrayal lurked. Alex, ghosted, went nuclear. Texts escalating to posts. Dumped for family drama? Pasadena pervs. Screenshots flooded Leo's DMs. Industry whispers starting. My gigs dried. Whispers at job sites. That queer carpenter? With his stepkid? Climax brewed that Sunday, heat wave peaking. Elena's final play. A family intervention at the house. her plus therapist and Leo's aunt. We prepped. Leo's script rewritten as armor, my resolve steel. But as they arrived, faces stern, the pool gate creaked open behind us. Alex, uninvited, flanked by paparazzi-light friends with phones out. "Thought you'd want company, babe," he leered, but eyes vengeful. Chaos erupted. Elena shrieking, aunt mediating, therapist droning neutrality. Leo shoved Alex back. "Get out!" But a phone captured it all. Our defensive huddle, my arm around him, damning in context. Flashes popped. Elena sneered. "See? Toxic." I snapped. "Enough." Voice booming, I faced them. Family, ex, ghost. Leo's a man. His choices are his. I love him, yes, like that. Fiercely, honestly. If that's ruin, then call me destroyer. Silence fell, heavy as heat. Alex slunk away, tail between legs. Elena deflated, aunt murmuring retreat. Alone again. Leo trembled in my arms. "You said it. Out loud." "Had to." I kissed his temple, salt stung. "For us." But the video went viral, Pasadena pervs trending low. But enough to sting. Gigs vanished. Leo's short pulled funding. We hunkered. Love our bunker. Nights scripting futures. Days job hunting side by side. His head on my shoulder at coffee shops. The fallout hit like a Santa Ana gale. Fierce, unrelenting, stripping leaves from the jacaranda until the yard looked like a battlefield. Monday morning, Leo's phone was a minefield. Voicemails from professors, concerned about his personal life. Texts from classmates. "Dude, that's your stepdad?" Wild. And a curt email from the shorts director. "Pulling out. Optics, you know?" He stared at the screen over burnt toast, jaw set, but I saw the crack. The boy who'd once cried over a lost swim meet, now man enough to swallow sobs. "It's fine," he lied, voice steady. "Indie world's full of no's." I squeezed his hand across the table, calluses rough against his smoothness. "Then we'll make our own yes." That became our mantra, scrawled on a post-it by the fridge. Our yes. Mornings we'd swim, laps turning to synchronized drifts, bodies brushing in ways that spoke volumes without words. Afternoons, job hunts. Me pitching carpentry to eco-build firms in Atwater Village, him cold-calling production houses in Hollywood. His reel polished with my gruff feedback. Evenings we'd cook. Pasta from scratch, sauce simmering as we slow danced to Coltrane in the kitchen. His cheek on my chest, my chin in his hair. Romance in the mundane. A stolen kiss over dish suds, fingers laced during Jeopardy. Marathons. It was fragile, beautiful, a raft in the storm. But storms swell. Elena escalated midweek, her attorney filing a formal complaint. Psychological manipulation, undue influence, citing the video as evidence. We countered with our own lawyer, a no-nonsense queer advocate from Silver Lake who high-fived Leo after intake. "Kid, you're braver than half my clients." Costs mounted, savings dipping, but her bluff cracked when Leo called her bluff. Voicemail left, voice raw. "Mom, stop. I love him. Fight me, and you lose me forever." Silence followed. A white flag in the form of deleted posts. A hesitant text. Thinking. Alex, meanwhile, doubled down. Instagram stories painting Leo as unstable. Me as creep enabler. Whispers reached job sites. A foreman in Boyle Heights pulling my bid, muttering about family values. I swallowed pride, took day labor, hauling lumber in the valley, sun-blistering skin already scarred by splinters and secrets. Leo caught me icing a pulled muscle one night, knelt to knead it gentle. "This stops," he said, eyes fierce. "We're better than their bullshit." "We are," I agreed, pulling him up for a kiss, slow, grounding, lips mapping promises. That night, we crossed a line. Not the forbidden one, but the intimate. Tangled on the couch under a shared blanket, hands exploring torsos with reverence, breaths mingling in whispers of mine. Always. No further. The world outside was plunder enough. We fell asleep like that, his heartbeat my lullaby, the pool light filtering blue dreams. Friday brought a lifeline. An old contact from my 90s film days. A producer who'd marched with me in marriage equality rallies. Heard the noise. Got a docu-series gig. Queer elders sharing stories. You in? Leo 2. We auditioned Saturday in West Hollywood. Me halting through Mark's tale. Voice cracking on hospital vigils. Leo fluid, his script snippet weaving our poolside epiphany into poetry. They bit. Greenlit. Shooting starts next month. Elation surged. Dinner at Roscoe's. Chicken and waffles drowned in syrup. Toasting with sweet tea. To our yes? Leo grinned. Foot hooking mine under the booth. But betrayal's tide turns vicious. Sunday, as we prepped for a hike in the Verdugo Mountains, backpack stuffed with PB and JS and water bottles. Elena's Prius appeared again, this time with Leo's aunt and a stranger. A reporter from some tabloid rag, notebook poised. Off the record? Elena cooed, but her eyes screamed agenda. Just want to help. Tell your side before the vultures do. Leo stiffened beside me on the porch. Our side's private, Mom. The reporter leaned in. Slick. Public now, boys. Alex's lawsuit incoming, defamation, emotional distress. Elena hears a source. Lawsuit. The word iced my veins. Alex twisting ghosting into gold. Elena feigned shock. I didn't I talked. To protect you, Leo. From this. Delusion. Delusion. Leo's voice rose, raw. Loving someone who sees me? That's you, Mom. Deluding yourself we're still your perfect family. He stepped forward, chest to chest with her. Go. All of you. They retreated, but not before the reporter snapped a photo. Us on the steps, united, damning. By noon, it was online. Scandal stepfamily. Love or abuse. Comments flooded. Predator. Hot but wrong. Team Alex. Leo hurled his phone into the pool, watching it sink like a stone. Fuck them. We hiked anyway. Trails winding through scrub oak. The city sprawl below a distant hum. At the summit, sweat-soaked and spent, we collapsed against a boulder, city lights winking like conspirators. Remember that first night? He murmured, head on my thigh. You caught me cleaning. Thought I'd die of shame. I stroked his hair, sun-bleached strands soft. I caught more than gear, Leo. I caught a glimpse of us. He tilted up, lips finding mine. Deep, desperate. The kiss a rebellion against the world's clamor. We lingered there, hands clasped, watching hawks wheel on thermals. Descent brought resolve. File countersuit. Go public on our terms. Monday's doca shoot was salvation. Cameras rolling in a Castro-inspired set. Leo directing my interview with quiet command. Tell me about the pool. The interviewer prompted. I did the shatter, the scrub, the spark. Leo's eyes met mine over the lens. Proud. Loving. Rap brought hugs from crew. A producer's whisper. Your story? Is gold. Authentic. But authenticity invites arrows. That night, Alex's suit dropped. $50K demand. Affidavits from witnesses claiming Leo's coercion. Elena signed one, her betrayal ink black. Leo read it stone-faced, then burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like our defiance. She's lost, he said, voice hollow. But we're found. We made love then. Not the frantic tumble of youth, but slow, sacred. Bodies joining in the guest room bed. His gasps mapping vulnerabilities. My hands worshipping freckles like constellations. It was communion, not conquest. Whispers of I see you amid the rhythm. Climax a shared sigh of release. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he traced my chest. This is us. No labels, just home. Tuesday tested that home. Protests brewed. Not ours, but a micro one. Neighbors picketing the driveway. Signs scrawled protect our kids after the article. I faced them head on, coffee in hand. My kid's 22, grown, and loved. Leo joined, arm around my waist, bold, unbreakable. They dispersed, muttering, but the chill lingered. Work ramped. Doku edits meant late nights at the producer's loft in DTLA. Leo cutting footage while I built sets, hammer echoing his keyboard clicks. Romance threaded the grind. stolen lunches at Grand Central Market, arepas shared with spicy glances, drives home with his hand on my thigh, radio crooning Tracy Chapman. But Elena's shadow loomed. A call to Leo, tearful. Come to Sedona. Get help. He declined, gentle but firm. Help's here, Mom. With him. Climax crested Wednesday. Monsoon season's first storm cracking the sky. We were at the loft when the alert hit. Elena, hospitalized, overdose on wellness herbs, aunt claiming grief over the family implosion. Leo paled, grabbing keys. We have to go. The drive to Cedars-Sinai was hell. Rain sheeting windshield, wipers slashing like accusations. Waiting room sterile, aunt glaring. This you're doing? Leo paced, hand in mine hidden under jacket. When Elena emerged, pale, foredripped, eyes hollow, she reached for him. Baby, I'm sorry. The letters. I was scared. For you. He knelt, tears falling. Scared of me happy? That's the real poison. But forgiveness flickered. Hug exchanged. Whispers of therapy. Not together, but parallel. Outside, rain easing, Leo leaned into me. It's over. The fight. Not yet, I said, kissing his rain-damp hair. But closer. Home brought catharsis. Pool under storm clouds, us diving in fully clothed, laughing as water weighed us down. We surfaced kissing, fierce, storm's fury our echo. That night, bodies entwined again. We claimed victory in sighs, love a tide turning. Yet betrayal's wake lingers. Thursday, Alex dropped suit. PR nightmare, his agent said, but not before one last venom. A leaked audio, Elena's voice slurring doubts. We deleted, blocked, moved on. Doku wrapped Friday, premiere invite gleaming. Your story, center stage. The premiere loomed like a beacon, October 15th, a Thursday night at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, where stars once walked red carpets for Bogart and Bacall, now hosting indies like ours. Echoes unseen. Queer fathers and sons. Our doku retitled for Punch, promised raw truths amid velvet ropes and flashbulbs. Prep consumed September. Leo tweaking cuts till his eyes burned. Me sourcing props from salvage yards. Old film reels, faded pride flags, to dress the set. Mornings blurred into fittings. His slim tux evoking young De Niro. Mine a tailored navy that hid the carpenter's build but not the nerves. Romance wove through. Post-editing dinners at El Cholo. Margaritas loosening tongues for dreams. Him directing features. Me building eco-homes for queer communes upstate. Elena's recovery cast long shadows, but glimmers pierced. Weekly calls. Her voice softening from accusation to curiosity. Tell me about Mark, she'd ask, tentative. Leo bridged us, script sent her way, feedback flowing. Proud, baby. Really. Betrayal's bruise faded to scar. Humanistic in its healing. Not erasure, but integration. Alex vanished into influencer oblivion. His suit a footnote in our lawyer's victory lap. October's heat clung stubborn, but our backyard oasis thrived. Pool skimmed daily. A ritual Leo reclaimed with me. Brushes traded for shared floats. Bodies drifting lazy under palms. One sunset eve, as alpenglow painted the San Gabriel's pink, he proposed. Not rings, but futures. Co-house in Silver Lake? You build, I film. Us official. I kissed him there, water-lapping vows. Yes, all in. Premiere night arrived electric. Valet chaos on Hollywood Boulevard. Paparazzi swarming like optimistic locusts. Elena showed. Linens traded for a simple black dress. Arm linked with ants. Her smile genuine as she hugged me. You were right. Brave. Inside, the auditorium hummed. Queer icons in seats. Activists with pins gleaming. Our segment unspooled. My gravelly confessions of Mark's loss. Leo's tender recount of the pool catch. Intercut with home videos. Us laughing over pancakes. Laps in sync. Laughter rippled, then tears. Applause thundered as credits rolled. Our names bold. Jake and Leo Harlan. Q&A was fire. Questions probing tabloid scars. How'd you navigate the backlash? Leo fielded smooth, Love doesn't ask permission. It just is. I added gruff. And family? Forges or breaks you. Ours forged. Elena teared up from the third row. A silent absolution. Afterparty at a WeHo lounge pulsed. Champagne flutes clinking. Producers circling Leo like sharks to chum. He navigated with grace. My anchor at the bar. Hand on my back, subtle but sure. A director approached. Call me by your name, Alum. Offering a feature spot. Your chemistry? Screen gold. Leo glanced my way. Eyes sparkling. It's real-life gold. Midnight found us escaping to the Roosevelt rooftop. City sprawl glittering below like a promise kept. We danced slow to a busker's guitar. Springsteen cover, Thunder Road. His head on my shoulder, my arms home. Unbelievable, right? He murmured, echoing the night that started it all. Every damn day, I replied, kissing his temple. No grand gestures. Just us, under stars that wheeled indifferent, benevolent. Dawn drove us home, tuxes rumpled, take-out burritos wrappers littering the console. The house welcomed, pool light on, a beacon. We stripped to skin, dove in naked for the first time, water cool on fevered flesh. Surfacing, we treaded face to face, laughter bubbling. To more catches, Leo toasted, splashing. To unbelievable follows, I countered, pulling him close. Our kiss deepened underwater, bubbles rising like released secrets. Romantic, raw, redemptive. No climax in drama's blaze, but quiet crescendo. Love as daily act, humanistic in its persistence. Months folded forward. Leo's feature gig landed, Desert Hearts, a nod to our Vasquez shoot. Him directing 2 leads mirroring us, outcasts to lovers. I broke ground on our Silver Lake fix-up, reclaimed wood framing walls for stories untold. Elena visited Sundays, brunch on the deck, her sage bundles traded for mimosas. Tales of Sedona suitors met with our teasing. Betrayal? A chapter closed, its lessons etched. Forgiveness not owed, but offered. One July Eve, a year post-pool catch, winds whispered again. We floated, beers bobbing, his hand tracing my tattoo. Mark's initials, faded but fierce. Grateful for the ghosts, Leo said soft. They led to you. I pulled him atop me, water cradling. And you to me. Laughter echoed, then sighs. Love's tide, eternal. The nightmare that started it, long forgotten. In its place, dreams shared, road trips plotted, Route 66 calling, Mustang keys jingling promise. Unbelievable? Hell yes. But ours, dramatic, suspenseful, emotional, romantic, achingly human. In America's sprawl, we'd carved home. 2 men, 1 current, flowing true.